Hi guys, I hope you enjoy this. I know there's so many recipes out there that say how to make no-bake cookies, and this is the one that's been in my family for a long time, and it really is, in my opinion, the best one. You want to have everything ready when you're making this. In the kettle, you want a stick of butter. I use real butter because they put too much oil in the margarine. They don't want to set. 2 cups of sugar, a half a cup of milk, and a quarter cup of baking cocoa. Have everything else ready for later, which is 3 cups of oatmeal. I usually end up adding a little more. A half a cup of peanut butter, about a half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to get into this, and I will have you watch what I'm doing as I go along. Ingredients will be in the tail end of the video, so keep watching and you'll catch up with me there. When you start cooking this, you want to cut up your butter. I do use real butter because they put too much oil and water in stick margarine anymore, or even in the tub margarine. And you'll notice that if you melt it in the microwave, you'll see how much separates. So I do use real butter. It costs a little more, but it does taste better and it sets better. When you're cooking this, be sure that if you're using a metal spoon like me, you're not actually hitting the bottom of the pan or scraping it. And have a phone ready to time out your 3 minutes when it starts to rolling boil. And I'm using an electric stove, so you might want to, as you're boiling, continually turn down your burner slowly as you go to keep it at a rolling boil but not a splattering boil. I started out at 5, and by the time the end of this gets there, it's about at a 3. I do let it cook a little bit longer, as you'll see after the 3 minutes is up, and that's because of the elevation and the humidity. That gives it a little longer set time to the sugar. Kind of gives it more of a hard cook so that it will set better. And as you cook this, you'll figure it out for your area how you need to cook it, or if 3 minutes is long enough. And as you're cooking, if you smell your cocoa burning or starting to burn, make sure you keep turning the heat down. You will also want to be sure to constantly stir, because if you don't, the sugar will crystallize and harden and stick to the bottom of your pan, and then that's not good. It makes it hard to stir it, and it will burn, and the cookies will taste burnt. Like I was saying, this recipe is one that my grandmother always did, my mom always did, I always did. And I know there's so many different variances of it and how much to use, but honestly, this one has always been true to use, except for the the margarine now is made with so much more oil and water that it just doesn't set very well with margarine. The less oil in it, the better it is, but it's getting difficult to find margarine made with only like 30% vegetable oil. Most of it is 60%, 80%, and I've seen some with as much as 90%. And the cookies don't set well with that. So always watch what you use, or just use butter. I often buy butter when it's on sale and just throw it in the freezer. Here you'll notice that I leave the burner on, and it's on about maybe at a 3. It's on a low boil. And I really don't measure my salt, and I don't use quite as much as they say to use. Um, and I hardly ever measure my vanilla. I cooked it so long I kind of know what it looks like when I'm pouring it in. And if you want to measure all this, have it ready and maybe in a little dish or a little cup. So all I have to do is just pour it in. And you want to add this stuff quickly because this will cool off. And I just add it during the last maybe 20 seconds of cooking that I leave it going. And then you see here that I just turned it off. It's only on for about another 20 to maybe tops 30 seconds longer, which helps them set better because of where I'm at and the humidity. And then I just add the oatmeal in about half at a time and stir it in quickly. You'll notice that after I stir this in, it is still really, really wet. And I add just a slight handful. Yes, I cook with my hands, and yes, I make sure my hands are clean. I'm one of those people that I don't touch food when I'm cooking it unless I've cleaned my hands with soap, and I'm really picky about that. So yes, my hands are clean when I cook. And it doesn't take much more to take what little wetness there was left and just drop it by the spoonful on the foil. Depending on how big you want your cookies, I make fairly good sized cookies, and I get about anywhere from 2 dozen to 3 dozen depending on the size of the cookies I make. And here they are. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And right here you will find the ingredients and how to put it together. Everyone, have a great day. Bye bye.